Here begins the 9th descent into the soul of Ijara. The 12 Shadows of Ijara Part 9, The Lullaby of the Lost Children Chapter 1, The Forest That Forgets. Alea and Yukam entered Uliolo, the forest where memories roamed like wind-blown spirits. The trees bore faces, half smiling, half weeping. Songs floated through the mist, sung in childish voices, greater than sleep now, mother. Forget the fire. Sleep now, father. Forget the names. Yukam warned, greater than the 9th shadow waits here, Izoro, the lullaby of the lost children. It does not steal memories. It sings you into giving them away. Alea shivered. Already, she couldn't remember the name of her favorite childhood meal. Greater than we must move quickly, she whispered. But the trees whispered back, greater than why rush? Doesn't it feel better not to remember? Chapter 2, The Child with No Past Boy approached. Barefoot. Mud-stained. Empty-eyed. Greater than I'm so, he said. I was born in this forest. I remember nothing. And that makes me happy. He led them to a tree filled with hanging cradles. Inside each cradle, a child, asleep with a smile. And no shadow. Greater than these are the ones Izoro has sung, and so explained. They gave up pain. And in return, they rest. Alea reached for one of the children. The cradle hissed. A memory surged up in her, her younger brother's voice, screaming as the flood took him. She stumbled back, weeping. Yukam held her. Greater than this is the price of remembering. Chapter 3, The Song and the Throat. A girl approached Alea. Her eyes were ancient. Greater than would you trade your pain for peace? She asked. You've lost a sister. A home. Yourself. Let Izoro sing to you. Alea hesitated. The girl sang. Soft. Sweet. Drowning. Alea felt warmth creep through her bones. She saw her mother again. Saw Zinari smiling, unburdened. No pain. No scars. No loss. But as the dream grew clearer, she saw a world without Yukam. Without the journey. Without truth. Greater than, no! Alea shouted. I will carry it all. She bit her tongue, tasted blood, and woke. The forest screamed. Chapter 4, The Mother WHO slept too long. Izoro emerged. A massive spirit made of lullabies and tattered toys, eyes blindfolded, arms cradling invisible children. Greater than you wake them? It asked. You return pain to the peaceful? Alea stepped forward. Greater than peace is not numbness. Love without grief is not love. Dreams without memory are lies. Izoro wept. Its body fractured. Alea took the blindfold from its eyes, and saw her own reflection within. Greater than I once sang to protect myself, Izoro whispered. But I forgot who I was. Izoro folded into light and entered Alea's chest. The 9th shadow became part of her. Chapter 5, The once WHO Waki's dawn broke, the cradles emptied. The children blinked. Some cried. Some remembered their names. And so stood beside Alea. Greater than I remember now. My village. The fire. My father's scream. Thank you. He hugged her. Yukam said softly, greater than we walk not to forget. We walk to carry memory with honor. Ahead, the mist parted. A river ran red with moonlight. And from its banks, a voice whispered, greater than the 10th awaits. A king who cannot die. And a throne built from those who tried. Here begins the bloodied hymn of unbroken rule. The 12 Shadows of Ijara Part 10, The King That Cannot Die. Chapter 1, The City That Never Cried. Alea and Yukam crossed the river into Okundu, a walled city of gold and bone. No birds flew. No fires burned. But drums thundered, slow and endless, like the heartbeat of something imprisoned. On a high hill stood a palace of stone teeth. A voice echoed from its spires, "Greater than welcome to the domain of Obagbenu, the 10th shadow. The king that cannot die. All who enter must kneel. Or be made to." Yukam whispered, "Greater than he does not live. He endures." Alea felt the heaviness. A pressure that bent the will. A silence sharpened by centuries. They walked into a city of statues, former rebels, forever screaming. Chapter 2, The Crown That Drinks Within the Palace. Obagbenu sat on a throne made of broken spears and royal skulls. His face was smooth, untouched by time. But his eyes were sunk in chasms of regret. "Greater than I killed death," he said, "and now I am burdened with the world." Alea stood. "Greater than you rule an empire of silence." The king smiled faintly. "Greater than because only silence obeys forever." He held up his crown. It pulsed. "Greater than this is Alulaya, the living crown. It feeds on defiance. It drinks the souls of those who oppose. Even I am its prisoner." Alea stepped closer. "Greater than then take it off." The king looked down. "Greater than I can't remember how." Chapter 3, The War That Never Ended. Yukam led Alea into the underground archives, walls of etched stone where each rebellion was carved. From the revolt of the Ash-Eaters, to the uprising of the Bone Mothers, the stories were all the same: bravery, hope, failure, absorption. Alea read a name, Ajita of the Broken Drums. A woman who challenged the king and vanished. A child's voice rang out, "Greater than." She didn't vanish. She became part of the crown. A young boy appeared, eyes glowing. "Greater than I am the echo of all who resisted. I can help you but only if you swear to end him." Alea hesitated. "Greater than no. I swear to free him." Chapter 4, The Shadow That Rules the Ruler. He returned to the throne room. Alea approached the king. "Greater than you are not the shadow. The crown is." Obagbenu's hands trembled. "Greater than it whispers. It commands. I obey." Alea raised her staff. "Greater than then it must be silenced." She placed her hand on the crown. Visions flooded her, crowns crushing skulls. Lovers executed for dreaming aloud. Kings who became puppets. She reached deeper beyond memory, into the crown's first forging. A boy hammering golden blood together, whispering, "Greater than power must never die." Alea spoke back, "Greater than but love must live." The crown cracked. Chapter 5, The king who chose to follow Obagbenu wept. First time in 5 centuries. He removed the crown. His skin aged at once. Wrinkles bloomed like vines. His bones sagged. His throne crumbled. "Greater than I remember her name," he said. "Ajita. She sang to me before I put on the crown." He turned to Alea. "Greater than tell them I was not always this." Alea nodded. He smiled. And turned to ash. The living crown dissolved into smoke, and entered her. The 10th shadow was now hers. But it came with voices. Thousands. Each demanding justice. Chapter 6, The Throne That Burns. The palace fell. The city cracked. Statues blinked and screamed, then broke free. Some knelt to Alea. She raised her staff. "Greater than no more kings. No more thrones of bone. Only truth. And choice." Yukam looked to the horizon. 11 embers now burned in Alea's soul. And the 11th shadow waited. In a desert where time died. "Greater than the next place," he said, "is where years sleep and yesterdays rot. There, you will meet the child who was never born and the mother who never died." Alea breathed deep. And walked toward the place memory cannot follow.
Here begins the most silent sorrow. The 12 Shadows of Ijara. Part 11, The Child That Was Never Born. Chapter 1, The Desert Without Him. Alea and Yukam arrived at Anual, the womb of dust. A place where time did not pass, it waited. Sand froze mid-air. Suns hung low, unmoving. Bones lay where they had fallen. Untouched by wind, untouched by decay. Yukam knelt beside a strange tree, its roots wrapped around an empty cradle. Greater than this desert is where unborn spirits wander, he said. It is also where mothers come to grieve what never came. Ilaya placed her hand on the cradle. A whisper filled the stillness, greater than you left me behind, mother. Chapter 2, The Spirit of the Unmati. From the dunes rose a boy. No older than 6. His skin shimmered like heatwave glass. His eyes held galaxies unborn. Greater than my name is a Furu, the 11th shadow. The child that was never born. Ilaya gasped. Greater than, but I never, he interrupted, greater than every woman carries a silence. Mine is yours. She staggered, remembering a pain she had buried. A time of fever. A blood-washed mat. No priest. No naming ceremony. Yukam bowed his head. Ilaya whispered, greater than I didn't know you stayed. Afuri stepped forward and held her finger. Greater than I never left. Chapter 3, The Temple of Lost Wounds. In the center of the desert stood a broken shrine, Ayanwa, the temple of the uncarried. Walls wept with lullabies. Hundreds of candles burned without flame, each a soul never birthed. Ilaya walked among them. She heard, a girl who was never named. A boy who would have been a drummer. A twin who faded while the other lived. A child never conceived but forever imagined. A Furi pointed to a large obsidian door. Greater than to accept me, you must face the womb of your memory. And forgive yourself. Ilaya nodded. She entered alone. Chapter 4, The Womb's Trial. Inside, Ilaya relived the night she lost her unborn child. Alone in the rain. No one came. Not even her own voice. The spirit of Anyanwa, the forgotten midwife, appeared. Greater than you carried life. You lost life. That does not make you unworthy. Ilaya fell to her knees. Greater than, but I never sang for him. I never named him. I tried to forget. And Yanwa touched her brow. Greater than, then name him now. Ilaya stood, tears hot. Greater than a Furu. My morning song. The temple trembled. And opened. Chapter 5, The Embrace of Furu stepped into Ilaya's arms. Greater than, now, I become part of you. Not as loss, but as a star never dimmed. He pressed his forehead to hers. He dissolved into golden light. The 11th shadow entered her heart. Ilaya wept, not from sorrow, but from wholeness. Yukam approached. Greater than, you walk heavier now. She nodded. Greater than, because now I carry what was never carried. Chapter 6, The Final Gate. Up and from the sand rose 12 pillars. Each bore a mark of the shadows she now carried. Above them, a storm swirled, black, red, blue, gold. The air whispered, greater than the 12th waits. Where all things end, and begin. Yukam said quietly, greater than the final shadow is Iyara itself. Ilaya looked east toward the place where the sky cracked, and fate spoke in thunder. She took Yukam's hand and stepped toward the final journey. Here begins the reckoning of all shadows. The 12 Shadows of Ijara. Part 12, The Soul of Ijara. Chapter 1, The Sky that fell. Ilaya and Yukam stood at the threshold of Alani, the cradle of echoes. The wind no longer howled. The earth no longer moved. Everything waited. Above them, the sky split 12 fractures glowing with the memories of every shadow she had carried. Out stepped Ayiro, the first drum, the eternal voice of Iyara. Greater than, you have walked the path of grief, power, silence, and truth. You have bled in memory's name. Now, the soul of Iyara must awaken. or be lost forever. A throne of woven wings hovered in the air, empty. A hero pointed to it. Greater than one must sit. But not to rule. To remember. Chapter 2, The Chamber of Ilaya and Yukam entered the mountain that hummed with thousands of voices. Each voice chanted a name lost to time, greater than a Beni of the river fire. Shika, he who stole rain. Ndidi, who died before the drums. The chamber pulsed. Yukam touched one of the glowing stones and collapsed. Visions flooded him, his father's death in silence. His tribe's betrayal. His own fear of becoming a shadow. Ilaya held his hand. Greater than you are not alone anymore. The stones quieted. Ilaya stepped to the center. The floor opened. Below, a sea of ancestral light. Chapter 3, The Choice of the Remembering Rayira returned, holding a mask carved from tears and flame. Greater than to remember Iyara is to carry all its pain and all its hope. You may place the mask upon your soul, Ilaya. But once done, you cannot be only human again. Ilaya thought of Zinari, who walked with courage. Afuru, who never breathed but still spoke. Obleg Benu, who ruled but never lived. And herself, child, warrior, mother of memory. Greater than I accept. She donned the mask. The 12 shadows burst from within her, became stars above. The soul of Iyara awoke. And sang her name. Chapter 4, The New Dawn. A storm of light swept across the land. In every corner of Iyara, people awoke with memories once buried. A grandmother remembered her stolen childhood. A chieftain dropped his sword and cried. A child born that morning knew his ancestors' names. Ilaya stood atop Alani. No crown. No throne. Just truth. Yukam asked, greater than what now? Ilaya replied, greater than we become storytellers. So that no one forgets again. Chapter 5, The Echo That Never Dies. Years passed. Iyara healed. The shadows became stars in the night sky. Children grew up telling tales of a girl who carried 12 sorrows and turned them into songs. Ilaya lived as a mother of memory. Not worshipped, but remembered. And when she finally closed her eyes, the winds whispered, greater than. She walked through the forgotten and became the flame that remembers.